Whether we have been in this journey of faith for 30, 40, 50, 60 years, or whether we are just now stepping into this life of following Jesus. We've heard a prayer that connects us, and it begins with the first word, our. If you haven't been traveling with us, we've been walking through this prayer, and it begins when we say our. It reminds us that we aren't just people who intersect with one another, but we are people who are intricately interconnected. That we come shoulder to shoulder and we shore one another up. Ours reminds us that we are never, ever alone. That we have a community, that we have people that are walking with us, that our lives are interconnected with. And hallowed begins that transition from just thinking about our faith and the academic side to making us move into the holy, of standing in between the mystery of faith and what is the ordinary. And the hallowed reminds us that we are the people who are to stand in the gap. To bring the mystery of the holy, to bring the mystery and the goodness of God's light into this world. The holy, the hallowed is us stepping into a gap and connecting the things that we don't quite understand with the life that we want to lead. And we move from there into this sense of God's kingdom, that we are being asked to move into a neighborhood that isn't like our own. Not just move in as white saviors thinking that we have another program, putting something out to, quote, save somebody else or to change their way of life. But God asked us to make our home with the uncomfortable, to step into the places where we do not know the answers, where we have to confront our own biases, to come with a posture of learning and listening and understanding and being uncomfortable in our own actions. And then God reminds us when we say our daily bread, that every single morning when we rise, when our feet hit the floor, there are new mercies for us. That there is the manna of assurance, the offering of confidence and stillness and respect. And that offering isn't just for us to take in the daily bread. And we might not always get what we want, but God always offers what we need. And in us partaking and receiving of the daily bread, that then we too must offer it to someone else. We must offer the love and the respect and the assurance and the confidence so that someone else has the ability to experience being fed on a daily basis. Those things, those actions, those movements, they seem like things we can do, right? And yet today there is a new direction. There's a little bit of pivot. There's something that happens in the language, in the structure of this prayer, and it is something deeper and much harder than those things. Here in this moment of prayer, there is the line that says, forgive us. Forgive us. It's in that short moment, in that short statement, that we move from the outside world and the actions into looking at ourselves. I wish the prayer said, forgive me, because the forgive us is the thing that reminds each and every one of us that we have fallen short. There's not one of us in this room that hasn't missed the mark. There's not one of us in this room that is perfect. We strive to a perfection. We say every Sunday, God, let there be more of you and less of us. But this is where the more of you and less of us becomes extremely difficult. Because the forgive us says it is the heart's cry. And it is the forgive me. Forgive me because I have abused power. Forgive me because somewhere along the way I have slandered someone's name and someone's character to make myself look better. Forgive me because somewhere along the way I have used and manipulated my power and spun a narrative that is for my good and creates an us and them so that what I want and the power that I cling to can rise to the top and someone else can look bad. Forgive me is the heart's cry of saying, I've gotten it wrong and I take responsibility. It's the realization that we have harmed someone else. Again, all of us are included, not just you, but me, every single one of us in this space, every single one of us on Zoom. We have failed. We strive to be like Jesus, but we are not Jesus. And in this part of the prayer, when we say, forgive me, we are the thief on the cross. We are willing to look at Jesus and say, Jesus, please remember me. Jesus, please do something different in my life. Jesus, please free me from the retribution and the punishment that I deserve. Forgive me is the wanting more to be like Jesus. And yet knowing that we aren't Jesus. The forgive me takes responsibility, and it is seeking freedom. Freedom from the hurt and the pain that we've caused somebody else. And then yet, and there, it doesn't just stop. I wish it did, because that's hard enough. No, then Jesus says, it's not just about forgive me. We then say, forgive those who have trespassed against us. And this is the part that I would rather not hear. This is the part that I would much rather skip. Because when we get to forgive them, forgive them involves every single part of our being. This is the place where our minds come to life and the memories come flashing and we understand the story. It's the place in our heart that makes every nerve in our body feel like it is on fire. And all of those things roots itself in anger and frustration and retribution and defensiveness in the depths of our soul. It's the place where we lick our wounds so much that it cannot heal. And yet this sentence strikes at the chord of every single one of those. This challenge, this command that God is asking us to live into. Jesus is asking us to have more of him and less of us. He's not asking us to forget, but he's reminding us that we've just asked for freedom. We've just longed for freedom. We've been the thief on the cross. And now we have to offer that same freedom to someone else. We have to choose freedom over retribution. But here's the thing about offering freedom to someone else. It doesn't take away the pain. It does not excuse what the person has done to you. It does not say, let us just forget. Forgiveness does not say it is all okay and you will be fine. Forgiveness is freeing yourself from the anger, freeing yourself from seeking retribution upon somebody else. Forgiving them is about having freedom for ourselves so that we can respond more like Jesus and less like humans. Offering forgiveness does not mean that there has to be a reconciliation, because honestly, there are relationships that don't need to be reconciled. Forgiveness doesn't happen in one breath or one prayer. The setting yourself free so that you can be and give it to somebody else, it might take months. It might take a year. It might take 5. But every single day, Jesus is asking us to say, first and foremost, forgive me. I've gotten it wrong. And then if we want to be more like Jesus and less like ourselves and less human, it's then that we do the unthinkable. And we offer that same freedom. We offer that same mercy to the person who has wronged us. Are we willing to be more like Jesus and less like us? If we are, the road is not easy. Are we willing to forgive? Are we willing to set the world into freedom? Let us pray.